All right, so here's the deal, because I don't know about you, but when I started looking into selling on Amazon, just like making money online on the internet, it looked like everyone was like making a bajillion dollars all the time, but that's obviously not the truth. And I've been selling on Amazon full time for 7 years now. So I'm gonna make some tea real quick, and I want to break down some of the biggest things that I actually did this year to lose a pretty good amount of money, because I like to share a lot of the success on the channel, but I also want to share all of the failures and show you guys what it's really like. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my very official teapot here, and we're gonna go into the office here, and I'm gonna show you guys 4 or 5 different ways that I lost several $1,000s selling products on Amazon this year, mostly just so you can avoid these mistakes, but also see the real reality of this stuff. So I'm gonna give this just a second before we go into the office, but I really want you to be prepared for spending your time and money on something before you really know the full picture of what can go wrong. All right, so because I want you to pretty much have the full picture of what it's actually like to be an Amazon seller, I want to jump into the computer here with you guys and break down a couple different examples of products that I actually lost money on this year. And these will hopefully help you avoid some of those mistakes. Because like we're talking about, selling on Amazon is great. It's absolutely changed my life, how I make my full-time income now, but it's not all profit, right? I want to show you a couple of these examples, and when this video ends, you'll know how to be a smarter Amazon seller than I was this year, hopefully. So let's go ahead and jump into this example right here. I'm gonna break down the first big lesson I learned this year, and I am gonna have to blur some of the information in this video, by the way, because some of y'all psychos will try to figure out where I live. But when it comes to looking at the dashboard here, one of the big things I learned was to avoid selling products that are heavily returned. And this product, as you guys can see in the picture, was like a men's dress shirt. So I learned a couple categories this year that are a no-go, because you can see I got an insane deal on these. We paid almost nothing for these, and still after the cost of refunds and returns, like literally half of these were refunded. And this was one of several different sizes that we bought as well. So even between all those different sizes of those dress shirts, they all had crazy return rates. So big thing I learned is to not sell men's dress shirts. Other things I've learned in previous years from products where we just ended up losing a bunch of money was women's shoes, specifically like Skechers branded, almost anything. Somebody told me that the molds for all the different shoes are different. So it means people might be a 10 in one model of Skechers and a 9 in the other. And I definitely saw that when we tried selling some Skechers on Amazon. Other problematic return heavy type items would be any like really expensive electronics, high ticket items in general. I'm not a huge fan of for like brand new sellers, just because there can be some pretty big headache involved with those refunds, especially if the customer pulls switcheroos and that kind of thing. So one of the main things I learned was to stick as much as possible to things that don't have crazy refund rates. And when you do buy stuff like this, make sure that it is a very good profit, because as we can see in the dashboard, even when you get it at a really good price, sometimes it still isn't going to shake out after all of the returns and stuff. And on this one, we only lost like $5, but that was a lot of work to do to lose $5. All right, so for this next product I want to show you guys, I ended up losing about a couple $100 on this product. We actually still have it in inventory, but it's kind of because of a problem I want to show you. This problem has been replicated many times over this year, and it's just a really common issue that you should probably avoid as well. And to show you what these products look like, I'm just going to show you the data on this product. The product itself does not matter. You're going to see this pattern a lot. And basically what happened here was I bought this product right around the beginning of the year, and then looking at the data, there was an obvious red flag, and I just kind of ignored it. Sometimes things like this can work out. In this case, it definitely did not. When I look at the data on this listing, which by the way, you'll just look at Keepa and SellerAmp as far as product sourcing goes. This is the Keepa chart right here. And when I bought this, should be pretty obvious. Some of you guys that have been selling Amazon for a while, you can see that new offer count had been increasing. So basically over the course of a couple weeks, it went from 9 sellers on the listing all the way up to 18. So obviously we had like twice as much competition, and during that same time span, the price started dropping. So should have been a pretty obvious example. You'll see this a lot when it comes to sourcing products, especially for things that are pretty easy to find, because this product was just something I found on the website for sale, just like on a clearance price. I didn't have to do any extra margin creation. I didn't have to use coupons or anything fancy to get the price pretty cheap. So I made it really easy for other people to figure out the exact same item, hop on the listing, and then let me show you what happened to the price after I made this mistake and why we still have it in inventory. Because if I go to all-time view, you can see that the chart basically has shot down consistently since then. I'll probably end up selling this at a loss, because at this point, you guys can see on the offers, it's gone pretty low. So originally we bought this for just under $8. It would have been a $3 profit, but now it's going to be a negative $3 profit. So pretty easy thing to avoid. Just make sure you're watching for things with a big competition increase and the price already decreasing. But a lot of times you might also end up getting stuck with some inventory that just isn't going to sell, even if it is still profitable. And this can specifically happen on things where there's like multiple different versions of the product. So for me, I like to sell things like clothes and supplements and things like that, where you'll go on the listing and there's a 1-pack and a 2-pack, or there's a medium, large, small, that kind of thing. What happened on this listing was I bought way too much inventory, and I'll probably be stuck with this for a little while. It should sell at some point, but for right now, this is something that I've got about 500 bucks worth of, and I haven't really seen any sales come in yet. And it's because I didn't do a little bit of quick homework diving into the data. You can see the price is still pretty good. We bought this for 16 bucks. Right now, it's still profitable. There was a little bit of time where it went down a little bit to like 33 bucks, but even then it was still nice and profitable. The problem here is that this particular size is just not selling super well. And there's a couple easy ways to tell. Number one, we can look at the new offer count and we can see how stable it has been for basically a month there. That is a pretty key indicator that no one has come onto the listing or sold off on the listing. And then there's another key indicator in the data that I really like, and I don't see very many people talking about this, but if you go back into Keepa and you go to data offers, you can actually look at everyone's stock count and price over time. So what I saw initially, what my team saw initially that probably made us want to buy some of these, admittedly we should not have bought as many as we did, was looking at the data back here. You can see here in November, there were a couple stock count decreases and the price on this product was between $38 to $40 while the stock count was decreasing. So I can see that this did actually sell, but looking through all the people who were on this listing, like those are the only real stock count drops I see. So honestly, we just had no business buying as much inventory on this as we did. I would expect worst case will probably be sold out in like 6 to 9 months. But in the meantime, like I said, we're out 500 bucks. But on the upside, and this is why I'm such a big fan of reselling from websites, doing online arbitrage, what we're doing is we can buy as many or as little as we want, right? I know some friends are into wholesale and buying from China and that kind of stuff. And when they make a bad buy, it's really, really expensive because they're buying pallets of it at a time. So that's why for those of us just kind of getting started on Amazon, it's a really smart idea just to go in, buy 5 units, buy 10 units, see how that goes for you. And then after that works, you can always double down. And that way you don't end up doing what I did here and not buying enough. But hopefully that little trick shows you how to figure out, when it is actually selling. So with that in mind, I also want to show you another example, because one big thing I've learned over my time of being an Amazon seller is if you're able to buy items as cheap as possible and buy them cheaper than your competitors, you make money. Hopefully that is obvious, but let me show you an example of why this really matters and how you can make sure that you are more profitable than everyone else you're competing with, right? So let's take a look at this product data here. This is something that I bought in the summer for $8. It was selling super consistently for $20 right here. And we're looking at the data. It looks pretty good. What could have gone wrong here, right? What went wrong was this product was way too easy to find. And honestly, it could have been a lot worse, because if you zoom out, you can see now the price on this product has gone down to like 14 bucks. So now obviously not so good. I'm actually sold out on this product and we sold out around 15, 16 bucks. So we ended up not making a ton of money, except here's the difference. And this is key, because this is where a lot of people who want to be Amazon sellers for a long time don't succeed because they don't understand this. So what you need to do is for every single product that you buy, you need to go and check all the extra ways that you could create extra profit margin. One of the easiest ways to do that is with discounted gift cards. So like this product, for example, instead of buying it for $8, we went ahead and bought it for $8, but we also bought it with discounted gift cards that were, at the time, I don't think it was 22%. Back in the middle of summer, it would have been, yeah, it would have been about 15%. So we bought these for 15% cheaper than the clearance price indicated, just because we bought them on discounted gift cards. On top of that, we also bought those discounted gift cards with a Spark Cash card. So we got 2% cash back on all of those gift cards that we bought. And I also made sure that I got as much cash back as possible by referencing Cashback Monitor. I'm not exactly sure what cash back we got paid out, but right now you can see the highest rate of the day is you can get 6% of your money back as soon as you go in and buy anything at this website. So that makes a huge difference, right? Instead of being the seller who was losing 45 cents a unit, what we actually did is we went ahead, and I'm just going to call it 20% for even numbers, was we made about $1 per unit. And so obviously that particular product was not something we actually lost money on, but it's something that we should have lost money on if I was buying products like every other Amazon seller is, where you're just looking at the clearance price or looking at the sticker price on the website, maybe use a coupon and just call it at that. Which, by the way, I know I've showed you a bunch of bad examples. We're of course going to look at a good example. I'm going to explain how to find more good examples in your business as well. But before we do that, I want to talk about the thing that made me lose maybe the most money of any other mistake that I could have made this year. And that was not kind of properly understanding all of the tariffs and import duties that we have to deal with these days for whatever reason. But let me show you an example. So I was buying pretty good amount of inventory from websites like this. I've never actually bought from this exact website, but it's things like this where we can go and you can shop like a store that sells in the Netherlands or the UK and that kind of thing. And they do free shipping to the US, or they do cheap shipping to the US if you hit a certain milestone. Now that was great. And a lot of this stuff is profitable. And I've been buying stuff internationally for 5+ years now. But with the constant like flip flopping, are the tariffs on, are they off, all this kind of stuff, I started getting like emails from UPS, and they were charging us like anywhere from $100 to $500 or $600 per box that was showing up from UPS. So that ended up being a couple $1,000s in import duties that basically completely wiped out the profit that I made on that item. And so if this was a huge part of my business before. I'd probably try to, figure out some way to make it work. But for my store right now, I just don't buy from any stores that ship from international, European suppliers, that kind of thing. I'm just buying everything from American websites right now. And at this point, I've showed you a bunch of bad products. So let me show you one product that I found today, and I'll show you how to find a lot more stuff like this. So we can buy stuff like this where we can go to JCPenney right now, and these pants are on clearance for $18.90. And then over on the Amazon listing, these are going for $31.58, plus there's an $8 shipping charge that's hiding back there. So if I plug all that into SellerAmp here, let's call it sell at $447. We're buying for 19 bucks right now. This is a $10 profit. But remember what we were talking about with all the ways to create bonus money, right? We don't want to be the seller that's just looking at that face value clearance price, like that example where I should have lost money. Because what we can do is we can go back over to those simple things that I was showing you guys, and we can just go ahead and say, hey, how much extra bonus money can I create at JCPenney? It's all right, I can go to Card Center and I can pay $90 for a $100 gift card, effectively is what that 10% discount is doing. I can buy that with my 2% cash back card, make a little bit more money on that. And then I can make some bonus money. Don't include cash back in your profit margin. It's not always going to pay out, but there's no reason not to go in here. And in this case, we can say price.com is 10%. Maybe that's capped at 15 bucks. Chirpy estimate. Have you ever actually heard of that? 5%. Maybe I'll give that a test. And we can add some extra bonus money to this lead. And now instead of just paying 19 bucks and taking it as it is, at the very least, we can subtract that 10% that we get with our gift card. And we've just added an extra couple bucks in profit. And then when it comes to finding more products like these, I know the big roadblock for most people who have tried selling on Amazon before is not being able to get ungated or get approved to sell these products. And what's really cool is now what you can do to get a list of 50 to 100 brands that you can get approved for right now, even if you're a brand new seller, is just go ahead and load up Boxem, which is what we were using for analytics. This is kind of how you power your Amazon business. But go to inventory and then use the bulk ungating feature, because what you can do here is you can just select our suggested ASINs list, and then you'll see this is going to start checking a bunch of products, showing you what you're already approved for. It's also going to be trying to ungate all of these products for you. So this is actually going to go ahead and submit applications for you on all of these brands, and then it'll show you everything that it was able to automatically approve for you. And by the way, this is actually one of those brands that's commonly auto ungated. So this brand could be something that you could start researching. And specifically when you're looking for products like this, the way to find more products as easily as you can is to just start looking at the storefronts of what these other Amazon sellers are selling, right? Since we know that they bought that product probably from JCPenney or another similar retail website, when we go back over here into their storefront and I filter down to this brand that Boxem could show me is auto ungated, maybe iZod is auto ungated for you, just filter down to that brand, because you notice when I click that brand, I'm only seeing products within that brand. And now I can just go through this list and look for things where Amazon is not selling on the listing, products where that max cost is pretty reasonable. So things where I go in here and say, hey, maybe I can get that for 10 bucks. In this case, I doubt we're getting a pair of jeans that's name brand for 10 bucks, but all we have to do is price compare. And based on the fact that we know they're selling one thing from website and we can get a bunch of stuff auto ungated, pretty easy to just kind of compare back and forth and start sourcing stuff with that method. But if you want to see a full detailed video on how to actually use that method to source, I'll leave a link at the end of this video. Just want to focus on kind of preventing those losses today. So if you are serious about dialing up your Amazon business, make sure you grab 2-week free trials of Boxem and SellerAmp down below. Those are the softwares that actually need to power that Amazon business. And while you're down there, drop any questions you have in the comment section. Happy to chat with you guys. But I'm gonna be honest, it's Friday. It's super nice today. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the golf course. You guys can watch this video right here if you want to learn how to source products. See you next time.